This is the new Sony Bravia 9, the highest flagship TV from Sony in their Bravia series. And coming from the Sony Bravia 3, what makes this mini LED TV better and with a starting price of 70,999 ringgit, is this better than a flagship OLED TV? Well, after you see how this TV performs, you might reconsider buying an OLED. Now first, let's talk about the display. Well, obviously, since this is a TV review, the Sony Bravia 9 has two variants here in Malaysia, a 75-inch and an 85-inch. Both has an Ultra HD 3840 by 2160 resolution with a 120Hz refresh rate, and the variant that we got for the review is the 75-inch variant. Now, since it is a mini LED TV, you are certain to get one of the brightest TV panels that you can find in the industry, and this Bravia 9 does not disappoint with a high peak luminance. So you're guaranteed to have a very bright panel on the screen, whether or not you're watching this TV at night or even very prominently during the day. Even placing it here at the studio at the living room area, there is a total of 6 Amaran Studio lights with a 20,000 lumens lighting for each of the lights, lighting up the whole area. However, one area that I was totally blown away, it's the Deep Blacks 2. And this is because of Sony's XR Backlight Master Drive, which is not only in charge of giving you the OLED-like blacks, but also dazzling brightness as mentioned. And it also saves power at the same time with this particular technology, where Sony has developed the world's smallest mini LED driver, and that is why the TV can be so bright while being very precise in the light control, reducing the typical blooming effect that you would get from OLED. And this Bravia 9 is not all about the blacks and the brightness, as their True Luminous Pro technology gives a wide color palette, boosting its amazing color reproduction, and that is what gives the lifelike visuals both for HDR and SDR content. And while we have been hearing the word AI here, AI there, just so you know that Sony's processor have been leveraging on AI for the longest time to produce the best image possible based on the content being displayed. So this is not something new to Sony, as the processor intelligently makes the right choice based on the image being shown on the screen to get the right blend of deep blacks, high contrast and bright highlights with almost no blooming or halo on the screen. And color accuracy was top notch, and high motion content like F1 or even football was great too, which was great to know since EPL season has just started. Now, speaking of my studio lights earlier, the X anti-reflection also minimizes glare and looks very clear. It was so clear where even my own reflection looked at me and said, "Wow, that is clear." And the X wide angle also gives you perfect viewing angles of the TV, so you can have more people enjoying the TV from different angles compared to other models within this Bravia line and other competitors as well. And I also love the studio calibrated modes in the Bravia 9, which brings a true cinema experience in your home to a whole new level, as this has been developed with all the streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime to ensure that the content is exactly how the creators of the movie or shows intended you to experience visually. So yeah, this is like giving the Dolby Vision an energy drink, like glug 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 glug, to produce an even more accurate representation, matching what you get in the cinemas right in front of the comfort of your home, of course. Now, speaking of a cinematic experience, make sure to stick to the end of this video, as I'll be doing a sound test using our binaural studio quality mics in this video later as well, so stay tuned for that. So the Bravia 9's design is as impressive as its technology. The one slate concept fuses the screen and the bezel into a single slate, minimizing distractions when viewing the screen, and the bezels also blends with the TV seamlessly as well. Now, I also love the 4-way stand, which offers flexibility with options for the outside, inside and soundbar positions fitting any setup that you have. Now, speaking of the stand itself, it has a thin flat steel plate design with a metallic hairline finish and has a clever cable management cover panel at the back, so it does keep your setup clutter free. Then the remote is also easily designed to access what you need to get to. Then the material is also made of Sony's Soplus recycled plastic. It is backlit and also USB rechargeable as well, which I feel by now all TVs should do this. And on top of that, there's also the Find My Remote feature too, which helps for situation if you or even your kids loses the remote. Nice. Now, I didn't talk about gaming when I was reviewing the Bravia 3, as the gaming performance on that was not the highlight of the TV, but since this has a 120Hz refresh rate panel, there are tons of things to talk about the gaming experience on this. So this is firstly achieved because of the HDMI 2.1 port, which gives you that high 120Hz refresh rate. It also supports VRR or variable refresh rate, and ALLM, which stands for auto low latency mode, and the auto HDR tone mapping and auto genre picture mode. It ensures the best picture quality when gaming. Now this means that there are brighter highlights, and even though the shadows are darker in games, but you will be able to see the finer details during gaming. And of course, there is a dedicated gaming mode, and together with the PlayStation 5, this mode minimizes lag and maximizes the overall responsiveness in the game as well. So this will come in clutch for any fast-paced game that you love and enjoy. Now this game mode is also one of the places where you can fine-tune all the game-centric settings if you really need to, which I left it at default, as the TV knows what is the best settings, but it is nice that you have these finer adjustments if you really need to. And if you're into Dolby Vision games, the good news is that this Bravia 9 also supports that too. And speaking of support, don't forget to support this video by giving this a thumbs up to tell YouTube, hey, it was a good review. Yes. And a subscription would be lovely too. Thank you very much in advance. Next, let's talk about the sound, because similar to other Bravia series, this has Dolby Atmos and DTS support, providing a surround sound experience that makes you feel like you're in the middle of the action. There is a unique beam tweeter and a frame tweeter to project sounds in all directions, creating an immersive audio experience. The dialogue was very clear and audible, and the bass response on this was surprisingly really good and deep.
That's what she said.
And if you heard our audio test on our Bravia 3 review and love how that sounds, this Bravia 9 is going to be taking it 9 notches higher. As it sounds really amazing. There's a feature called 3D surround upscaling that will transform standard stereo sound into extraordinary 3D surround sound. There's also the addition of the 360 spatial sound mapping, making every movie night a true cinematic experience, once again bringing cinema to your homes. And here is an audio test recorded with our binaural microphones, so put on your best headphones.
He is, but I'd like this meeting with my counselor later. When the principal thinks that I can talk to your principal. But New York needs you right now. Oh, small member. And please, be careful.
So the software experience was one of my favorite things about the Bravia 3, and so it was on this Bravia 9 as well. Now, while we have all seen huge improvement on how Google TV is, that itself speaks volume on how the overall software optimization is. And together with Sony's custom UI on top of that, all the essential settings are arranged nicely at the bottom of the screen instead of typically putting them on the side. And this makes you go to each settings very easily without diving too deep in the menu system. Then the Sony Picture Core also honestly is a truly underrated feature, because it provides benefits like early access to blockbuster Sony titles that could still be in cinema screenings. Plus with IMAX Experience support, where this IMAX Experience support means that the content has no top and bottom black bars. And another super underrated feature is the fact that this TV will turn on based on your last input instead of turning it on to your home screen. For example, if you had TV on HDMI 1 and you had the TV turn off, once you turn it on again, it will go back to HDMI 1, which was not the case for a lot of other TVs out there, where it always tends to go to the home screen instead. Now, besides the integration with Amazon's Alexa, Google Assistant and Chromecast built in, AirPlay 2 also works very well, and in addition to Apple's HomeKit, it meant that I could easily add a TV to my HomeKit smart home ecosystem that we have in the studio as well, so I could easily turn on and turn off the TV so much easier in the HomeKit app. Now, if you like a written version of everything mentioned in this video, there is a written version of this review at our website at www.adamlobo.tv. Comment there and say hello to Jefferson and hello Said. So in conclusion, this Sony Bravia 9 is indeed a powerhouse of a TV. It didn't compromise on anything, as it really raises the bar in TV mini LED technology, and is probably the best mini LED ever made without trying to be an OLED, offering stunning visuals, immersive sound, and a plethora of smart features. The TV delivers an authentic cinematic experience, and because of how bright the TV is, it is perfect if you're watching TV in a very bright environment, and here is where it shines the best. So whether or not you're a movie buff, a gamer, or someone who loves binge watching shows, this TV has something for everyone. But if you want a more affordable option, check out my review of the Sony Bravia 3 over here.